In today's ASMR Ramble showcase, I'm going to show you the Somnia Tarot. Now this is, he's coming out with a new edition. The backs I think will look slightly different, and as you'll see in a minute, the pictures I think won't have borders. He's coming out with a new edition of the tarot and a first edition of a companion oracle. So before I go through the deck, showing each card, I'll give you a glimpse of the books. There's a little sort of white pamphlet that came in the box, as well as a larger companion book that talks more about the images. I'd have to go back and look. I'll put a link in the description for the Kickstarter that's still being fulfilled. It ended the end of last year, so it hasn't been fulfilled yet. But it has information I can't remember, but I think there's information in there about whether there's new guidebooks, extended guidebooks. I also may not be able to do a larger reading, though I'll try maybe like a 3-card pull at the end, because I'm not very good without a guidebook, and because at least with this older edition, it's very focused. The guidebook's real basic, just keywords and stuff. I'm not as adept at reading that, but I'll do my best. I'll probably go ahead and pull, because many of you probably are very adept, and so I'll give you the opportunity to sort of quote-unquote work with the deck. So this is the Somnia Tarot. This is the box. Obviously, like I've already put the bottom part of it elsewhere. Again, this is in the older edition. This is what that booklet is. See, it really is just the keyword. But then there's also a companion book. And it has a little bit more. It has the picture as well as, well, it actually does have more information. Yeah, so the book actually does, the little paragraph does go into more detail. I always misremember these things. And like I said, I think in the new edition it's borderless. That's what it said. What else was I gonna say? Oh, these are all photographs he has taken, I believe, with like himself, family, friends. So let's go ahead and go through them. So this is the 3 of Swords. Let me see. Oh, sorry. Let me see if I can. Is that better? Yeah, it's a little better. Alright, 3 of Swords. We have the 4 of Swords. We have the Devil. This reminds me a lot of, I don't have it anymore, and I'm kicking myself a million times over. B Nettles. I believe it was like the first photographic deck. It was back in like the 60s or 70s. I took a book arts class from her and literally bought her deck, and like she signed the box, but I got rid of it at some point. Why? I do not know, and I feel like I should go to jail for that. The Star. I think at the time I was just thinking, oh, this, the photographic deck really didn't really speak to me at that time, the Wheel of Fortune. But it's sort of been a lesson to me, like, not to part with decks, because I really wish I still had it. It also, I think, is probably worth a lot of money if I ever need to sell it, but instead it's just gone. This is the Justice card. So if you've seen her deck, and I'll put a link, I think she still sells it, or sells like a newer version. But in it, just like with him, she used herself friends, family to stage the picture. So these are not AI. These are real pictures that he staged and then photographed. I just think the real neat. He has, if I remember right, they're sort of inspired by like dreams and nightmares. Obviously, Somnia, that word should give it away. And that's partly what drew me to this particular deck, even though I do, I haven't always really been drawn to photographic decks, and not as much definitely as non-photographic decks. See, Six of Cups. But having my own issues with dreams and nightmares, I was curious how someone, Seven of Cups, how someone used that experience in the creation of a tarot deck. Judgment, that's a neat card. The ladder in the middle. And so in the newer version, I believe there's no borders at all. The world. The Ace of Wands. The Two of Wands. The Three of Wands. And I'll make sure to put a link to the Kickstarter page. It's not, like the Kickstarter's over, but it'll give you more information about the new edition as well as the Oracle deck in case they are of interest to you. The Five of Wands, and of course I'll put like a link to his shop. Six of Wands. Seven of Wands. I'm gonna move my seat a little bit. We have the Two of Swords. The Ace of Swords. The King of Cups. I like that he has people but not their faces, although it can also be scary. Queen of Cups. Especially if anyone's ever had a dream of a faceless person. I'm looking at this and a little traumatized. King of Swords. But it's also nice. Queen of Swords, because you're drawn to the silhouette, I guess, rather than like the essence of a person, rather than the person themselves. Page of Swords. Ten of Swords. So they're human beings, not necessarily a particular person. Nine of Swords. The Knight of Cups. It's funny because I don't know about you guys, but like umbrellas remind me of like surrealism. Like, oh, there's an umbrella. I mean, it's realist. I don't think that's accurate, but as someone who does not know art, that's a feeling I get from it. The Hermit, and then Strength. This big old like bear trap, some sort of animal trap. The Chariot. The Lovers. I like the use of ladders in this deck. The Page of Cups. That's neat. The Ten of Cups. And obviously when I say no AI, I mean it. But he's a photographer and I can't remember, like, obviously he had to do something to stage this. I can't remember, like, we took different photos and edited out people, so obviously it's edited and curated feel strongly one way or the other about AI decks. In general, I haven't necessarily been drawn to them as a collector or user, but I don't really have an opinion about, like a philosophical opinion about them. Six of Swords. I know some people have strong feelings one way or the other. I think I'm a little ambivalent. King of Coins. Because, like, I have someone I know who was trying to create their own deck. I don't know if they were finished. Queen of Coins. And they were using AI to help them. And it really was like, while AI was creating the art, they spent a lot of time. Knight of Coins. Like tweaking and making sure it looked how they wanted it to look. Page of Coins. So it wasn't just like some sort of 5-second, like, make me do. Ten of Coins. And so, yeah, I guess we use a lot of different tools to help us do things, and I'm not sure one line crosses over into the other. And I'm okay with not having an opinion about that. Because, yeah, I just wanted to ramble. Page of Wands. Ten of Wands. The Nine of Coins. The Eight of Coins. The Seven of Coins. The Six of Coins. The Five of Coins. And I think he may still have this edition in his shop. So if you are someone who likes borders, like, depending on the deck, I actually kind of like borders or coins. I think he may still have ones available. Three of Coins. Two of Coins. Ace of Coins. Four of Cups. Three of Cups. Two of Cups. Ace of Cups. King of Wands. Five of Swords. The Empress. The High Priestess. It's another neat card. I like that one. The Magician. The Fool. Some of these it's hard to imagine them not being good. The Sun. Obviously, like I said, these had to use post-production techniques. The Moon. Temperance. The Nine of Wands. And the Eight of Wands. And that is the deck. So let me come out a little bit. Grab the cards. Try not to knock things over. Shuffle. And then I'll go ahead and pull free and read from the larger guidebook. As always, feel free to pause. Sorry, I can't count and think at the same time. Feel free to pause and, look at the cards yourself. If you'd rather read it intuitively, to you, but let's go ahead and see what we have. We have the Ace of Wands. We have the Four of Wands. And we have the Ace of Cups. One of my favorites. This one's probably sounds stupid, but one time I took 2 different decks and I pulled from them both. And the first one was the Ace of Cups, and I was like, what if the next one's Ace of Cups? And it was. And it like really, I was like, oh man, that's so cool. I can't believe that happened. So ever after that, I felt particularly fond of Ace of Cups. So before I read it, just looking at it, this is for my own practice as much as anything, is seeing, you know, there's an ace for both. There's an ace with the wands of fire and an ace with the cups. So water, and then the Four of Wands, you know, there's sort of a face off there in the middle. And again, if you've seen any of my videos recently, I know that to me what resonates with a lot of sort of coming out from the intensity of a fire into a calmer place, which is why I would think of the Ace of Cups. And the Four of Wands almost looks like a struggle, like 2 people or 2 selves struggling. I'm not sure. Again, like I said, I don't know. I don't know tarot well, like by heart. So let's go ahead and let me read for those. So the Ace of Wands, new ideas, invention, opportunity, and bold ventures. In the Ace of Wands, a blazing torch emerges from a plume of smoke that envelops the surface of the earth. An unseen explorer makes a new discovery and realizes his prospect for bountiful treasure below the crust. Endless doors of opportunity have now opened. Upon returning to the surface, the explorer is now baptized in newfound inspiration and visions for the future. The Ace of Wands illuminates the world through the element of the suit, which is fire. And then the Four of Wands, gathering, harvest, rewards, friendship. Seated at a makeshift dining table, 2 shades appear before us in celebration as they are enveloped by a field of reeds. A harmonious meeting takes place in an otherwise unsettling presentation. The figures that torment our dreams and inspire our nightmares have paused on this blissful day to relish in the wonder of existence. Upon waking from a restful slumber, we are thankful for a night that was void of their disturbance. Many may wish for their nightmares to disappear forever, but the lessons that we gather from the dreams would certainly be missed. In the Four of Wands, I reflect on the bittersweet relationship that I maintain with my sleep disorder. Although the dreams are terrifying, the messages within them can be rewarding. I think the messages in my nightmares tend to just be nightmares. So I'm jealous. And then the Ace of Cups, abundance, new relationships, contentment, and divine inspiration. The Ace of Cups symbolizes the abundant nature of love and compassion that we receive from the universe. Themes of creativity, revelations of new bonds, both platonic and romantic, and exchanges of unconditional love are foretold by the Ace of Cups. The wooden vessel returns from the depths of the overflowing well to share its divine gifts with the viewer. The Ace of Cups imagery is a nod to the Rider-Waite interpretation of the card as it incorporates familiar elements, including a vessel that brims with water, a burst of smoke, and a divine hand that conducts the scene. The wishing well was hand-sculpted from reclaimed wood, foam, and dried mosses. It first appeared in Emercy, which is an earlier artwork that was created for my sleep paralysis photo series. So that is the Somnia Tarot. And after having read it, I want to re-look at the images, because for me, the 2 images in the middle, like the 2 people, are frightening. And looking at the Ace of Wands and Ace of Cups without going back and looking at like the Ace of Pentacles, and Wands, and Swords. I don't know if the Aces all only have the arm, because clearly they do in the Cups and the Wands. But hearing his description of the two figures in the middle almost makes me think, and this is just me talking, I don't know even about myself, but it makes me think like one is the sort of owner or the protector or the ruler of the Cups, and the other character, the ruler of the Wands. And it almost in that way feels like a stalemate to me. It doesn't seem, I don't have the feeling that they are friends, maybe frenemies, or maybe that's kind of what I mean by a stalemate. And that, nightmares can involve fire, they can involve water, burning, drowning, and the other thing that I think, to me, is when I think of this in terms of dreams, because he has like I said, I can't remember. I think he might have multiple sleep disorders. I can't remember. But I definitely have nightmare issues. And one thing that I oftentimes pray about when I go to bed is this idea of being sort of led into the valley of dreams and nightmares and back up into the mountains when I wake. The thinking of the valley, like if you're thinking of valleys and mountains, thinking of the valleys is actually the place of nightmares and dreams, and so coming out of it is climbing out. And so that Ace of Wands, I do like in terms of the context of dreams, to me it's almost like climbing out of the dream. And then in that sense too, could almost see that middle image as, so I'm just throwing everything out, seeing that middle image as even me and the dream, right? Maybe one of these people is me and one of these people is the embodiment of dream or nightmare. In which case, the water, maybe the nightmare bring fire. And when I wake, what I need is something cool and something to douse that fire. There's also almost like, the more I look at this, the more I'm like, damn, because there really is the having the two aces bookend this image of two figures staring at each other, and to not just be two aces, but fire and water on each side. I just think you could get a lot from that. Again, I'm not a good reader, clearly, and but hopefully my ramble is helpful in some way. Or again, if you're watching this for ASMR rambling, I know for me, if I'm watching an ASMR ramble, it's not necessarily even so much about what you're rambling about, it's just the sound of voice. But I'd love to hear what other people get from seeing these images together. Yeah, like the more I look at it, the more I see, I don't necessarily yet know what the narrative would be. For me, for example, but it seems like this is a very rich canvas for narrative. Like these three images together in this order. And especially if you're someone who has nightmares or vivid dreams or anything like that, using these images to think through that. I mean, even the way the images are done, it feels otherworldly. It almost to me doesn't even feel eerie as much as like you just stepped into another plane, but like almost like you're observing it, but not part of it. Which in some ways is what it's like, I guess, in a dream, right? You're part of it, but not part of it at the same time. Sometimes you know that, and sometimes you don't. Oftentimes you don't until you wake up. But yeah, I see this less of a greeting and more of a standoff, personally. But that also, for me, I have a pretty dichotomous nature, and oftentimes think of things like in a very dichotomous way. So others may read this more as like the coming together of those two elements, coming together in a positive sense rather than coming together in a, the battle of wills between fire and water, passion and such, thought and emotion. So anyway, hopefully, like I said, hopefully you looking at these images get something from them, and it gives you some example of how the Somnia Tarot could be used, how the images kind of can interact with one another. Like I said, I'll put links in the description to the Kickstarter from last year, links to his shops. I'm not sure if this older edition is still available, this one with the borders, but I think it might be. And if not, he has one coming borderless that's coming, as well as an Oracle deck. So I hope you have a good night or a good day, and hope to see you again soon.